The autumn of 1,983 inches Kilbourne, Louisiana, was a season of high stakes and heavy machinery. For 6-year-old Arthur Vance, a successful farmer and co-owner of an agricultural supply store, the harvest was a personal mission that required constant oversight. On November 4th, when a critical combine harvester broke down, waiting for a delivery truck wasn't an option. Vance did what any experienced private pilot would do. He hopped into his blue and white Cessna 177 Cardinal for a routine 40-minute flight to Vicksburg, Mississippi, to grab the parts himself. The flight out was unremarkable, but those who saw him at the Vicksburg airport noticed something off. Vance was pale, his movements were subdued, and he seemed physically unwell, though he never asked for help. He collected his parts, filed his paperwork, and took off for home between 10:30 and 11 a.m. As he crossed back over the city, a group of schoolchildren watched the low-flying Cessna pass overhead through the rain. That was the last time anyone saw Arthur Vance alive. For 15 years, the plane simply dissolved into the air, leaving behind no wreckage, no oil slicks, and a family frozen in a state of unresolved grief. The drought of 1,998 changed everything. In a summer so brutal, the water levels in Louisiana's bayous fell to depths not seen in decades. The landscape began to surrender its secrets. In a remote, marshy section of Bayou Macon, an area that had been completely submerged during the 1983 floods, a local hunter spotted something jagged and metallic protruding from the mud. It was the tail section of an aircraft. When investigators arrived, they found the Cessna 177 Cardinal embedded at a 45-degree angle, buried deep in the compacted sludge. The location was the first major shock. The plane was found just 8 miles from Vance's home strip. It hadn't exploded or disintegrated. It had descended in a controlled manner and vanished beneath the waterline almost instantly in 1983. Inside the cockpit, preserved by the oxygen-deprived mud, were the remains of Arthur Vance, still strapped into the pilot's seat. But the mechanical inspection revealed the true horror: the crash wasn't caused by the engine or the weather. Deep inside the heating duct beneath the pilot's seat, investigators found a dense gray cloth saturated with a lethal concentration of methylparathione, a highly toxic pesticide. The investigation shifted from an accident to a cold-blooded murder. The poison cloth had been placed so that when Vance turned on his heater during the chilly, rain-filled return flight, the cabin would fill with toxic fumes, incapacitating him within minutes. Detective Leon Gilbert began looking into the motive and quickly found a trail of greed. 1 month before his death, Vance had discovered a massive quantity of grain missing from his storage and had initiated an internal audit. The audit pointed directly at Clarence Reed, the farm manager who had overseen the day-to-day operations. On the morning of the flight, Reed had accompanied Vance to the airport, under the guise of helping load equipment, giving him a 5 to 7 minute window alone with the aircraft while Vance filed his flight plan. In 1999, a search of the farm's old storage sheds uncovered a 1,983 pesticide canister with a damaged lid wrapped in electrical tape. Spectral analysis matched the poison to the rag in the plane, and a partial fingerprint preserved on the sticky side of the tape belonged to Clarence Reed. At age 62, the man who had built a quiet life of wealth on stolen grain was sentenced to life in prison. Justice had been delayed by 15 years of water and mud, but it had not been erased.